Hi, welcome to Blockchain Life in 5 minutes. My name is Kary Oberbrunner, CEO of Blockchain Life and co-author of the new book. Now, let's get into today's episode. We're talking today about the control of the different versions of the internet. And you can see that in the very beginning with Web 1, it was essentially the wild, wild west. There was no control. And as a result, people began to do what they wanted, go where they wanted. And as a result, there was not a lot of governance. There was not a lot of, I would just say, oversight. And naturally, some people rejoice in that type of situation, and other people are very upset. But it was a decentralized version of the internet. I mean, I even remember back in the day, one of my very smart friends just being able to like hack credit cards and spend credit cards, and we were all like at a party, and we're like, what is this dude doing? What is this guy? We're kind of scared. And back in the day, there was this movie that came out by Matthew Broderick, something like that, called War Games, but it was about a kid who hacked into the government and nuclear weapons and this type of thing. And honestly, back in the day, it was a lot more possible because of the decentralized nature of the internet. So then what happens? We move into Web 2, which is very centralized. And with Web 2, there were essentially very clear boundaries. You're on Chase's website, you now go on to Expedia.com, which now you then go to Walmart. And so the interoperability of the internet was not common. I mean, think about it. It is kind of weird, but it's like you needed keys to every place on the internet, and we call these keys usernames and passwords. So the internet became essentially independent places that you would go. Now, some people like that because they think, oh, protection is very high, and we're not going to go into places we shouldn't go by accident, and security and this type of thing. But like anything, there are trade-offs. And so now with Web 3, when we go back into Web 3, a lot of people are now saying, look, this is the internet we've always wanted because it's decentralized, but with a lot more maturity to it. So now it's not the wild, wild west anymore, although it is. What we're now having is the fact that we can play together. Again, it kind of ties into that open source thing, but it also allows this magic word called interoperability, where a lot of proponents of Web3 understand that if Web3 is really going to be all it's supposed to be, we will be able to go into other metaverses, spaces, web pages without this high level of security. So one of the ways that this is possible is through digital wallets and NFTs. And so you start seeing like all these technologies in Web3, again, as I mentioned many, many times, they layer upon each other. Where now if you buy something that's a digital asset in one place, you can actually utilize it in another place in the internet. It's an analogy like Disney World. How valuable would a Disney shirt be if you could only wear it inside Disney theme parks? In other words, it would not be that valuable because you could only use the asset within the world that you bought it. And we understand that from a physical world standpoint. Well, that's actually what's happening with the internet. The internet now has created digital worlds, and how valuable is an asset if you can only use that asset in the digital world in which you bought it. And so it's not that valuable. So as a result, decentralization, this control, is needed. And you're seeing that decentralization is not just about assets. I mean, start Googling DeFi, decentralized finance, right? It's a whole thing where now we're saying, do we really need banks the same way? Can we be our own bank? There are drawbacks of bank. There are waiting days for money to transport to different places should this happen. And so DeFi, decentralized finance, is just one other expression of decentralization. This is basically a hot topic in the new version of the internet, centralization versus decentralization, and it does really shape all other components. I hope you enjoyed today's episode of The Blockchain Life in 5 minutes. If you would like, secure your copy of the book, available wherever books are sold. In addition to that, check out the VIP launch team. It's absolutely free and includes all kinds of awesome bonuses related to blockchain. You can find out more information at theblockchainlife.io/team. See you in the next episode.